Hello everyone, hope you're having a magical day today. Today we are going to go into the National Museum of Funeral History in Houston, Texas. So let's go in and check it out. So as you come in, you have the gift shop right there. And that's where you pay over there. So turn to the left, and right as you walk in, you got the funerals of George and Barbara Bush. Uniform belonged to U.S. Navy Chaplain Captain Judy Molina. And this is the service, stuff from the service for Bush. And I did a video on where they were buried at in College Station, Texas. And I'll link that in the description below. And this is the Union Pacific 4141 locomotive model that took George Bush So we've been there. Like I said, I'll put that in the description below. And so here's a map of how that train went. Went up to Nabosa, and then continued on to McMillan, and then Wellborn, and College Station. uniform was worn by Lieutenant General Guy Carleton Swan III. This uniform was worn by him when he served as official escort to Miss Betty Ford during the state funeral of President Gerald R. Ford. And this hearse for both Ronald Reagan and President Ford. The pennies of Abe. I like how that is. That's really cool. And it shows up better on the camera too. It's all made from pennies. So we're going to go into the presidential funerals. I'm going to turn to the left here. Abraham Lincoln. Wow, now that's kind of scary. This is a replica of Abraham Lincoln's death mask post-assassination. Lincoln's tomb. Casket, or what it was like. President Ronald Reagan. This embalming machine was used to embalm the body of President Harry S. Truman, December 26, 1972. Wow. Dwight Eisenhower. And this is what it cost for his funeral. Total cost was $2,681. Back in 1969, President Woodrow Wilson, and up here we have President Warren G. Harding. Alright, so now we're done with the presidential stuff. We're actually going into different things about funerals. So in 1921, this Rock Falls hearse, built in Sterling, Illinois, this carved panel horse measured 8 feet in height and more than 19 feet in length. Oh, cool. This is a sled hearse. Late 1800s horse-drawn sleigh. And this one is from 1929. Ancient history of cremation. You can stand here and watch this video. This is a big, I don't even know if I can get it all in here. That's big. And this is a 1916 Packard funeral bus. The only surviving funeral vehicle of its kind. This bus was built by Fifth Avenue Coach Company in New York City and was originally mounted on the Kelly truck chases. I guess for your family members here. And you got the hearse or the casket. And then the driver. Wow. Vince Lombardi. Martin Luther King Jr. Judy Garland. Elvis Presley. Hope I can say this right. Rudolph Valentino. And then Jackie Kennedy. This is a unique twist, custom paint and body in Burbank, California. That would be a unique twist on the casket. Alright, so this here, 1920s breadcloth covered casket. And then Italian Renaissance casket. We'll go around front and see if they say anything about the vehicles. This one here is from 1926, Sayers and Scoville, S&S hearse. And this one, 1916, Burke Sayers and Scoville hearse. This is a 1940 LaSalle touring sedan. This one is from Weatherford, Texas. Then you have a 1935 Studebaker Director Superior hearse. This is a 1951 Superior Cadillac. We'll go around the back on all of these too. And this is a 1939 Superior LaSalle Mount Claire hearse. It was purchased for $2,500. Wow. I think what we'll do is we'll come back down here and go behind all the hearses. because they have stuff not only behind it, but you got stuff on the wall here. There's a glass casket. Oh, sorry, can't see it. This is a glass casket. We got the early years of Heights Funeral Home. And here's the inside of this hearse. Memorial. These bagpipes here was played more than 450 funerals in the 2 years after September 11th attacks. Casket for 3. In the 1930s, a couple's small child died. The parents of the child were so depressed at the loss of their child that they planned for the husband to murder the wife and then commit suicide. The couple came into a I can't say that. The couple came in one of the western states and explained their plans to the owner of the funeral home. They asked that a special casket be ordered large enough to hold the husband, wife, and child. Their plans called for the casket to be built, the murder and suicide committed, and their remains placed in the specially constructed casket. The casket was to be shipped to their previous residence, where the child was to be incinerated. Disinterred and placed between the two parents for final burial. Later, the couple changed their minds and moved to another state. 20 years later, the wife sent a letter to the owner of the mortuary, and the letter said, in the letter she stated that her husband had died, and she asked for her money to be refunded for the triple casket. The owner of the funeral home replied that the establishment had twice undergone a change in ownership, and since she and her husband had purchased the special casket, the funeral director stated that he was unable to comply with her request for a refund, and the casket would have been moved. No further word had been received regarding the disposition of the casket since 1950. Wow. They say you can't take money with you. Guess you could. The money casket. And this nice car is a 1938 Henry Packard flower car. American jazz musician Pete Fountain. And this is a tribute to him. Charlie Daniels. I didn't realize he passed away. Talks about Wizard of Oz here. Carl Salvar. He was one of the Munchkins in Wizard of Oz. I got the Wienermobile. Charles Lindenberg. Michael Jackson. Elizabeth Taylor. Okay, this is really cool. We have a section for Snow White and Walt Disney. Snow White casket. Walt Disney's first full-length animated film, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, in 1938, is still a retelling of one of the tales collected by the Grimm brothers and convey the story of the Queen's desires to kill an innocent young girl. So during the popularity of this film, a casket company created the Snow White glass casket and displayed it in a funeral director's convention in the early 1940s. Wow, right after it happened, or right after the movie released. Haiti Waltrip in the Heights Funeral Home, Houston, Texas, purchased the casket, and over the years it apparently disappeared until recently, when it was discovered in the bottom of a closet at the funeral home. The glass casket is in the original condition and when it was purchased and believed to be the only one of its kind to exist. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all? Comments with Corey. Sorry, gotta get some humor in here, right? And here is that casket. We have some famous animals. We're going to go into the history of embalming. So it started back in the ancient Egyptians. Mummy. This is a Botshurst, 1890. Civil War embalming, the beginning of embalming in America. Dr. Thomas Holmes would embalm in the field. So Dr. Thomas Holmes, father of American embalming. Dr. Thomas Holmes, 1817 to 1899. Was a mortician, often called the father of American embalming.
Cremated remains. The crematory operator then packages the cremated remains in a plastic bag and places the bag inside an urn. At every point in the process, paperwork is updated and identification is verified. The cremated remains are primarily composed of bone fragments, but there may be metal fragments from medical implants, casket hardware, clothing, or keepsakes that remain after the cremation. The cremation composed of bone fragments, but there may be metal fragments from medical implants, casket
America's
hardware,
early
clothing, or keepsakes that
crematories.
remain after the cremation. The crematory operator rakes or vacuums the cremated remains into a recovery tray for cooling. Remaining metal fragments or non-organic materials are removed from the cooled cremated
Again,
remains
you can watch
prior
this
to
video
processing
here.
and placed in a recycling container.
It's about a 2-minute video. I watched
it.
it.
Is returned to a recycling facility. At the refinery,
Some books on cremation.
ingots for reuse in the manufacturing process to make items such as new medical implants, cell phones, and more. Cremation is increasingly the preferred choice of disposition.
Cremation by the numbers. Look at this.
Fully understand the
That's
technical
crazy.
process of cremation.
In the U.S. in 2008, 35.9%. By 2017, it went up to 51.6%. And the projected is by next year, 57.8%. That is really cool. And here it is internationally. And I'm assuming you're using the same key for that. But that is crazy.
This is not video of a specific brand, rather intended to show the common parts of a cremator and the cremation process. Modern cremators are designed for efficiency and low emissions. They are comprised of a primary and secondary chamber.
And here is some urns. There's a glimpse into the future, which I've heard of these, and I think that is really neat. So they just put the ashes into the glass and make it pretty. I think that is really neat. The living urn, now that's cool too. We're going to go into celebrating the lives and deaths of popes. So here's their coat of arms for the different popes. So now we're going to go into other cultures. We have Japanese over here. This is their hearse. Or hearse for the Japanese. Talks about the Japanese funeral. The average cost of a Japanese funeral is 4 million yen, or about $37,755 US dollars. And this is a 1972 Japanese ceremonial hearse. Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos.
There are skulls made of sugar, wood, paper, and amaranth.
This is a 1973 Mercedes hearse. A Life Well Lived. Fantasy Coffins of Kangway. Historic and Artistic Significance. This is King Louis Funeral Ceremony 1824. I like how the horses is dressed up as well. Like that to me is just so much respect. So this is a 1860 hearse. I'm not sure about this one. There's no thing in front of it. And this is a 1850 German hearse. And here is their gift shop.
All right. How much is admission into the museum?
With that was my day at the National Funeral History Museum, something like that. That's I never knew existed. That was really neat. I really enjoyed it. I would suggest you coming out. The tickets are only around $10, not that bad. So with that, thank you for joining me and have a magical day.